thing that I did before that was Tyson's Run, and the thing I did since was I did voice acting for Final Fantasy VII.
Whoa, really?
As a young Cloud, the remake.
Really?
So if you watch that, have you played that before?
Oh yeah, so I played the original. I love the original, and I was actually a fan of the remake. So that's actually really exciting.
I've never seen the remake.
And I did not know that. I didn't see that in the research I did.
Yeah, so like young Cloud when he's up on the water tower, and I can't remember what the town is called, but when he's talking about going to Midgar.
Okay.
Welcome to Razed Typical.
How's it going, everybody?
How's it going, Dan?
It's going well. It's going well.
I had a great day at school today.
Yeah.
I spoke at Jarretttown Elementary School.
That's true. Who'd you speak to?
I spoke to the 5th graders.
Oh, shout out to the 5th graders at
Yeah, Jarretttown. Yeah.
They are an awesome bunch of students.
They loved my presentation.
Yeah, we had the chance to do 2 different presentations at Jarretttown.
Yes.
And we really enjoyed our time there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to them.
Yeah.
So today, Ben,
we have Major Dodson.
Yes, Major Dodson. Now, Major is an actor who is also on the autism spectrum.
I did not know that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we found that out in our research, and then actually had a chance to ask him about it and talk to him about it in the interview today.
Yeah.
And just a very, very, very cool guy.
He is.
He has spent a lot of time practicing and working like you have been.
Yes.
On speech therapy, and is now at a place where he is able to fully communicate and is very well spoken, I think.
Yep.
And he's played a couple different roles. He was in The Walking Dead as a couple different characters. He was Kid Danny in the show Revolution on NBC.
Oh, I have to see that.
And his major role right now
is Tyson's Run.
Right. There's a movie called Tyson's Run where he is playing the main character, Tyson.
Yep. Who has autism.
Right, who has autism. So it's a movie about a boy with autism who struggles in school and ends up finding a coach and wants to run a marathon.
And that's...
When does that come out, Ben?
It actually is out already.
Okay.
You can go to your local... You can go to Tyson'sRun.com. It's on our website.
Yeah.
And you can go to find your local theater playing near you. I know it's going to be playing in Regal Warrington. I'm probably going to go... I'm going to go Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Check it out.
If you all want to come, join me to say hello and we'll hang out.
Yeah. It sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
And then, Ben, your billboard's up, right?
It is up.
Oh. So those locations seem to be changing, which is great. We were blessed to have Keystone.
Yeah.
They gave us free billboards. They donated some billboards to us, and so we were able to raise awareness for April 2. And what's the tagline, Ben?
Wear blue on April 2.
Yeah, so we're trying to get everyone to wear blue just to support autism awareness for World Autism Day.
Yep.
And I think that's all the announcements for right now, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about tonight.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I'm going to the movie. I can keep everybody updated. Yeah. Oh, the Broad Theater is not showing the movie.
Yeah.
Just to let you guys know. If you hear that in the interview, I apologize.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in the interview, but it's not happening anymore due to some scheduling issues. So
that's for Broad Theater in Souderton, but you can go anywhere else and see it.
Yeah, you can check it out. Like Ben said, go on our website or go on Tyson'sRun.com and you can find where they're showing.
Yeah.
You can check the movie out that way. But without any further ado,
let's roll the clip.
Roll the clip, and we hope you enjoy our interview with Major Dodson.
What is your favorite restaurant?
Ooh, man. So we're talking like chains or
whatever
kind of deals.
Yeah, whatever you think. Yeah, because basically, Ben is a big food guy, and so that's how he likes to get to know people. And so, it could be a chain if that's what you really like. It could be a local place that we may never have heard of, but still, next time we find our way out to LA, maybe we'll have to check it out.
Texas. He's in Texas.
Texas.
No, I live in Los Angeles
Yeah,
Oh,
now.
you
but-
live in
that's what I
Los-
thought.
okay, I
I was
wasn't
gonna say,
sure.
I thought when I was doing my research that it was LA.
Yeah. We moved back 3 or 4 years ago, and of course, there's a lot of food you can have here.
Oh yeah, it's the melting
Um,
pot, right?
In LA.
The melting pot, that's a cool one. I've been to one of those a few times.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Here, I'll just throw this one out there. There's this place called Pinocchio by me, and
Okay.
it's like this partially. Part of it's like an Italian like import market. So they just have a ton of like panettone and all that
Wow.
stuff, a bunch of noodles, a lot of imported wines, not that I drink wine. And then on the other side is this restaurant. It's sort of like an old timey cafeteria.
Okay.
And so they've been there for like 60 years, and it's good,
Dang.
cheap, like Italian food. So you can
Okay.
get a
Man.
big pasta bowl, and they'll put their sauce on there. It's just a chill place to go and relax with some friends.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's so good. I can picture it right now.
Yeah, the ambiance. That's a big part of any restaurant, I feel like.
Man, it's like it hasn't changed.
I love it. I love it. I love
They
it.
have not touched the decor once.
Yeah,
It's just
right.
all like vintage.
Right.
So,
That's so funny.
That's so cool. I love
yeah.
it.
Well,
So-
and I love vintage stuff, so it works out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My question's a bit harder, all right? But I find it really helpful when you're trying to get to know somebody. A good question is, what makes you angry?
Ooh, what makes me angry? Oh, man,
Yeah.
I could go on for a while. But I'll condense it down. Just people getting the short end of the stick, like people who have the ability to give them more. And you can see that a lot anywhere you look. That's what makes me angry.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree.
I can totally understand that. Even I think in both regards, right? Like I talked to Ben a lot about doing your best.
Yes.
So that's a big part of it, is like putting in your best effort. And I know a
Right.
lot of people who don't put in their best effort, and that's always frustrating. But then on the other end, right, you have, I think about this all the time. There's people who are just like not fortunate in where they were born or their upbringing or whatever it might be. And
Yeah.
who, like, I guarantee you, there could be somebody who is like a savant at a certain instrument, but they may never get to play it because they were just born in a place that, you know, either doesn't have that instrument or they're just not in a setting that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You see
so
that-
short
you
end of the
see
stick, I
that
can understand
everywhere
that.
in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So my question is, Major, what was your favorite part to film in the movie? Your favorite scene?
Oh, there you
Oh
go.
gosh. Well, we filmed for like a couple months, I believe. So it all kind of blurs together.
Yeah, sure.
If I had to pick, there's a lot that was really fun. So it's taking me a minute.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
totally fine.
I do think, like in retrospect, that the running scenes, even though they were all very grueling,
Yeah.
it was a lot of repetition, like going a quarter mile each time.
Yeah.
There was like a certain exhilaration about it. Just that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm running really nicely. I think they call it a runner's high. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those were satisfying to do. I really
Sure.
enjoyed those.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It's another question we have down, but like, what was the training process like for that? Right, because running was a big part of the movie. So,
Oh, yeah.
like, me, I might be all right.
But-
Ben's a bit bigger, so
But
you know.
sometimes it's hard for me to run.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, we were living in Houston at the time. So we would fly down there. But in the months before we started filming Tyson's Run, I went to my local high school and I would do laps around in their parking lot for
Dang, yeah.
hours on end. And of course, it's humid, it's hot.
Right.
Sometimes it rained. I wasn't out there in the rain, but you just
Sure.
kind of painting the picture there. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a swamp. And so doing that over and over, I practiced my stretching and everything. It was endurance training for the movie. And then when we were actually filming in Atlanta, our hotel, I think it was the Georgian Terrace, it was called.
Okay.
sometimes in the mornings or in the night, we would go up to their gym and I would just train on the treadmill for a while. So I would try and I would hit like a maximum time before I would have to stop. And my mom would just be there pushing me, hey, you got to do better. You got to do better. And eventually I did. And that is the only reason that the movie was possibly, finished.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I it's something that I know I talked to Ben about a lot, but that it's hard to think long term in the sense of okay, this running I'm doing right now is going to help me do this thing that is way down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that thought process.
Yeah.
And that's something you struggled with too, right, Ben?
Yeah, I've struggled with exercising. I mean, I don't want to do the work, but I have to do work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because the outcome, right? Fit body is great. But when you're in the moment and you're sweating and out of breath,
you're like Mario.
Yeah, it's a little rough. Well, another thing too is, that feeling in your side, that cramp, it just shuts you down 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
I had that for so long, and it came up a few times during the shoot, but it went away the farther I went. So it was interesting to kind of feel that as well, because it was progress for me.
Yeah,
I would not have considered myself able to do that before.
Yeah, sure. And that's all part of it too, right? I feel like people don't think about too much. Obviously, if it's a Superman movie, right? They're like, oh, that person had to train to get in that position. But even other movies, there are times you have to be malnourished to take a role. It's crazy sometimes the things that actors have to do for the roles they take.
Well, Christian Bale.
Yeah, right. I think it was the Machinist, I think is what he did.
Sure, it does sound like that one though.
Yeah, so I know obviously Batman, right?
Yeah.
Batman's I've never seen Batman.
Really?
You know what? My mom told me when I was a kid, you're not allowed to see a VHS version. So I'm like, what?
Why not the VHS version?
Because it's so scary, Ben. Okay, Mom. You should yell at her later about that.
I don't think I can yell at our mom, but I'll maybe I'll say something. I'll ask her about it.
Maybe I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I think you could probably
look
watch
on
it
eBay.
Yeah, there you go.
Actually, they're on Peacock, I think.
Oh, are they?
Oh.
I just remember reading an article about Christian Bale. He did Batman, and then a certain period of months later, he had to do a movie where he had to lose all the muscle mass that he gained. And so you can see side by side pictures, and it's just crazy.
Yeah,
that is unreal.
Yeah. So obviously, this isn't your first role. And you've had a couple of different roles. I thought it was really cool. You played young Danny in Revolution, right?
I did.
Which, when I was researching, I was excited about that because I actually really liked that show. I thought it was a very cool premise.
I never heard of that show.
Yeah, we watched it. Me, Mom, and Dad watched it a while ago, but it was on NBC, and all the power goes out, and they kind of revert back to a powerless time.
Oh, but it's timeless.
Kind of.
Okay, I can't remember. It's okay.
But yeah, either way, this role for you, was this more difficult or was this easier than past roles?
Far more difficult. Way more difficult. Mostly because when you're the main character, you're the main character of the movie. The whole thing kind of rides on the performance. So there was a lot of anxiety through it of, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing a good enough job? Will this look good?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, did that look good? And then of course, this is coming out now. I'm hearing everybody saying that, okay, you did a good job. And it's kind of just this release of, okay, all the anxiety was worth it in the end. But it was definitely so much harder. And most of that as well was the physical element, because beforehand, it was just kind of, okay, you got to walk around, or, oh, Twisty's coming to get you. You got to run. But it just doesn't really compare, because in this movie too, I did stunts.
Yeah.
I had a stunt double for one of the scenes.
Don't ruin it.
I'm not ruining anything. I had to stop myself there. But yeah, I did my own stunts for some of this, and there was just so much more involvement than I had before in terms of importance of character, I guess is the term for it.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So for this role in this movie, was running the hardest part for you, or was there something else about this role that was more of a challenge?
It's a mixed bag, because a lot of the movie is running, of course, but most of the movie isn't.
Sure.
So there was a bunch of character work that I had to do to make sure that it was a nice, realistic portrayal, a non-offensive one. I wanted it to be, grounded in reality. So that took a lot of like self-checks and balances.
Yeah.
Because there's, nuance and facial expressions and whatnot, mannerisms that I had to like hold on to. And then when the running scenes came in, it wasn't just, Major, you got to run. It was running as Tyson. So, he had a specific gait. He has the da-da-da-da-da, which, funny enough, that's just kind of like how I've run in the past.
Sure.
And it's funny how it came about. I saw it in a Terminator movie at one point.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, wait, the police officer's running like this. That'll make me faster. And that was like little,
I love it.
Like 8-year-old me. But I don't know. It kind of does make me feel a little faster. Just something about it. But,
sorry.
I just had to blend those things together for a lot of the movie, and that was a serious challenge.
I was gonna say, it kind of reminds me of Forrest Gump when he runs like this.
Yeah. He had a very specific
Well, he
run
was
too.
fast too.
Yeah. I could think about that though. There's definitely been times where I'll be running and I think about like an actor or some other some other role, and I'm like, oh yeah, if I run just like this, I'll run much faster. So I understand that for sure. So as we did our research, we weren't totally sure, so I'm just going to come out and ask, are you on the spectrum at all, or did you just do research to do this role?
I am on the spectrum. I was diagnosed with Asperger's when I was about 6.
Okay.
That's amazing.
When I was 4.
Okay.
And so I've been through occupational therapy and whatnot. When I was younger, I would not have been able to do this.
Sure.
Like making eye contact, albeit through a screen.
Sure.
But like just sitting here for a prolonged period of time, we had getting me into school was a huge battle because we live in the state of Texas. They're not usually the most progressive.
Yeah, sure.
So it was definitely an uphill battle with my parents because the school system didn't believe that I was anywhere on the spectrum. So I didn't get special attention that I needed for quite a while.
That's crazy.
And so when I was like 4 years old, we had this lady help us out with the school. She was a diagnostician.
Okay.
And she measured my attention span when I was talking to kids or interacting with other kids in like a bounce house, I believe. And my attention span with eye contact and like staying on one subject, it lasted about 4 or 5 seconds.
Dang.
So that took a lot of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am on the spectrum.
Okay.
That is so amazing.
Yeah, it's obviously something that we're passionate about, Ben being on the spectrum. And it's a big part of obviously what Ben talks about and just all that he does and is. And it's something that our main goal ultimately is to
be the one.
Is to be the one and to raise awareness.
Be kind.
Because if there's so many times I think that my experience in school, it was opposite to his experience because I'm older. And so I think I still was kind of in that realm of like, there's a lot more separation between neurotypicals and non-neurotypicals. And now we're like slowly making our way where we're getting better and better at bringing programs and schools. And we live in Pennsylvania, so they've been a bit more helpful. But our parents had to do the same. We actually ended up suing the school district because they would not provide the things that they were told to provide.
I was going to say, I didn't know how to read or write when I was in 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah.
And the school said, you're never going to do it. And my parents went up and they had to take them up to court. And I know Second Angel was Miss Nicole. She taught me how to read and write. So I'm so thankful.
That's insane. So they just wouldn't teach you at all?
Yeah, they just really thought it was a lost cause, and so they're like, "We're just there's nothing we can do." And my parents, fortunately being the parents that they are, they're like, "Well, that's not acceptable."
Yeah, of course not.
And so it was a lot of like extra work and therapy and intentional people coming in to do training and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ben's in the same boat where he would never be able to do this had he not had that kind of that training and
it's called the DeBar Association method. It's a really cool reading method.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of who you are now.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the thing that you always say? You didn't know how to talk when you were two.
I didn't know how to talk. A speech therapist, Paula Barson.
Mm-hmm.
She actually taught me how to talk, Major, and now today just talk, and there's no off button on me.
You guys are great talkers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We love talking.
We all turn out pretty good.
Hey, thanks. That's the goal. That's the goal.
I love it.
So that obviously your life experience then had to help a bit in this role. And so did you find yourself drawing on your own experience playing in this role?
There were some similarities. Like you just mentioned, school. I didn't have a very easy time knowing social cues or what was cool. I had all my obsessions when I was little.
Yeah.
So if you talked to me, I would probably just turn it into, oh, hey, did you hear this about the Titanic?
Yeah,
or,
sure.
Did you know this about cars or ships or trains or Transformers?
Cool.
It was all transportation related.
Sure.
Except for sharks. That one was not entirely just transportation.
Who knows? You could ride a shark.
Yeah.
SeaWorld.
Their skin's a little rough, so you need to wear a suit.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have a very easy time in school. Thankfully, I wasn't really bullied. I made a few friends.
Yeah.
But I think that's where me and Tyson really differ in our school experience. I didn't really run away because I was horribly treated by the other kids.
Sure.
Thankfully, I was around some pretty competent children.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is pretty much the main similarity. We did have a very awkward experience at school at first.
Yeah.
And then as time went on and we met more people, we got the help that we needed. We grew.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Like we mentioned before, I would not have been able to do this at that age. So
yeah, sure.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think Ben, what's the thing that you're always thinking about?
Having autism?
Well, yeah, but it's up there.
Roller coaster tycoon.
I noticed that earlier.
Do you like roller coaster tycoon? Do you like roller coasters? Your mom told me you
like roller coasters. I noticed that was Roller Coaster Tycoon in particular. I've watched the streamer play that before, and it's one of the funniest things to watch.
Ben,
I mean, not to sound like a sadist or anything, but like when they make the death coasters, that's fun.
They're fun.
Yeah.
We had Rob Decker
straight into the ground.
Yeah, so there's a guy that Ben's friends with. His name's Rob Decker, and he was on our show. But he was the vice president of Cedar Fair, and so they have parks.
Ran Knott's Berry Farm and California.
I haven't been to Cedar Fair yet, but I've been to Knott's Berry Farm a couple times. For my birthday. When I turned,
there you go.
Thing is, when I turned 17.
Okay. But yeah, he's responsible for designing a large number of their roller coasters. And so we had that up originally for him, but Ben loves Roller Coaster Tycoon. And so his thing, not necessarily was transportation, but roller coasters. Almost always. Fortunately, he's in a similar boat now where we talk about conversation being a tennis match, right? So you hit the ball and then they hit it back to you.
Right.
I've learned that from Tom Island.
Yeah. Whereas when you were a kid, right, you did what with the ball a lot?
I was serving.
You were always serving.
Just chucking balls, man. Yeah, I was the same way.
Yeah. And so, I mean, there's a trick to it, really. And all conversations have an ebb and flow. And so I totally get that. And from that school basis, I think something I wanted to point out was that friendship piece, I think, is huge. So Ben actually goes in and talks to students in schools. And we just talked to a classroom about friendship, right?
Yeah.
Because what did the student ask? Do you remember?
Oh, yes. I think I do.
Mm-hmm.
She said, how can you make more friends?
Yeah, she had autism, and she was like, it's a pretty intense question. How do you make more friends?
Right.
But at the same time, that's such an important thing. And so we basically, long story short, we just told her that it's all about making one friend. Mm-hmm. So if you can at least make one good friend, I think that can really change your experience somewhere.
Quality over quantity. Exactly.
So we heard that you're a piano guy. Is that true?
Sort of, yes.
Okay. How long have you been playing?
How long have I been playing? It's funny how I started.
Tell me about it.
It was around when I was like 11 or 12. I had this app on my phone called Magic Piano.
Okay.
Which piano?
Yeah, sure.
It's putting it very, very, very lightly.
Sure.
It's like a sort of a rhythm game, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a line, there's little dots coming down. You got to hit it like, boom, 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 boom,
okay.
Boom, boom, boom. And I thought that was fun. So I learned about classical music through that. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I started listening to Mozart and stuff. I mean, there was a solid year where I just listened to Requiem by Mozart.
I love it.
That's good.
Like that was just the only music I knew. But yeah, from there I kind of got into it, and then I went to like a couple piano. I went to a piano teacher. I got my own keyboard.
Yeah.
I kind of taught myself over time, and of course I didn't know theory or anything.
Yeah,
I still really don't. But yeah, I have a synthesizer. I've tried to make music for a while now.
Yeah.
Still ironing out the kinks, trying to learn about production. Oh gosh, I can just go on and on. This is my current obsession.
I love it. I love it.
That's so cool.
Music and music making. So yeah, I'm sort of a piano guy.
Hey, no,
that's amazing.
That's something that I can relate to. That current obsessions. I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say my mom used to play piano. We used to have piano out here.
Yeah.
A long time ago, and then we got rid of it.
Yeah, she was the only one that played. And I think at one point she tried to teach all of us, but it didn't stick with any of us.
It didn't stick. Yeah. Well, it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And it's really interesting to me how there's so many different instruments, right? But you could dedicate like your whole life to one instrument, and you still might not know everything there is to know about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, music making is very exciting because there are a large number of actors who've done music and have made that the thing they've kind of rolled into, or Childish Gambino is who I think of, or Donald Glover.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot in that avenue too.
Major, can I ask you this? Do you like to sing?
Yeah.
Not publicly.
Yeah, there you go.
Like earlier I said ironing out kinks. That's what I need to do for singing.
Yeah, okay.
There's something there. I just need to learn how to control it better.
Yeah,
that's cool.
My voice still does the odd crack every once in a while.
Yeah.
So
it's just as much an instrument as anything else.
Right. Well, and it's the most temperamental and personal instrument that there is.
Yes, very true. Very true.
Oh, I'll go next.
What's up?
The antiques. I heard you like antiques and vintage shopping.
Oh man. Yeah, that's the ticket. The shirt, for example, right here. It's like 100% silk. It's from like the 80s.
Oh, I love it.
What?
Got it for $5 at a place called La Bamba. I was out for the concert.
Dang.
Oh gosh, I could just bring things in.
I'd love it.
Like I have a huge stereo set up in that room right there. That's my bedroom.
Okay.
But like almost all of it is vintage components. I have a turntable from I think 1972 or 73.
Dang.
My receivers from 1989. My speakers are from like 1995.
Dang.
And it's all just very nice stuff. Like they don't. It's so stereotypical to say this, but they don't make it like they used to.
Yeah.
So I just love finding things. And on the topic of obsessions, I'll wrap this up right here.
No, you're fine.
for the longest time, I was extremely into cameras. So I had a collection of vintage cameras. I had about 40 or so. They're all back in storage in Houston.
Dang.
But like I had 20 Polaroids.
I love it.
That's
crazy.
Love it.
Like all throughout the time I was filming The Walking Dead, I would bring a Polaroid on set, and I would just be like parading it around, like, "Hey, Melissa McBride, let's take a Polaroid picture."
Yeah.
So yeah, I like vintage things.
I love it. I love it.
That's so cool. My aunts actually have an antique shop right there.
Yeah. So
really,
yeah. Growing up, they had a shop that was like solely focused on antiques, and so they know so much. Like they can look at a piece of furniture and tell you, it's from such and such year, just by the handles.
Right.
Yeah. And now they have a furniture store that it's like half antiques, and then they like refinish and like rejuvenate stuff.
I do like me some mid-century furniture.
Yeah. So we'll have to if you ever find your way out to PA, we'll have to bring you down to check it out.
Well, like just the other day, we went to the Getty Center in here in Los Angeles. And I really liked the chairs that they had in the like the front entrance hall.
Yeah.
And so I messaged the visitor center like, "Hey, I know this is a bit of a weird email, but who manufactured these chairs?" And they got back to me with like the designer and like who manufactured them up in like San Francisco. And they were like, "Yeah, here's their phone number." And so I don't know, maybe someday when I have like $2,000 to commission a chair,
there you go.
Yeah, that's great.
That's so cool. I find that kind of stuff so interesting too, especially because like trends, right? We really like furniture wise, we have so many trends. And just the other day, I was in a furniture store, and like everything's like it was in the 80s. It's like we're making our way back to the 80s again, and it's like it's a weird cycle of buying.
And then now it's gonna go back to 90s and
who knows?
And then 2000, and then 2010.
This never-ending cycle.
Well,
but Ben, you help out the furniture store, right?
Too.
I do.
Yeah.
I have a question for Major.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thrift store out in your area?
Do you go to thrift stores at all?
Favorite thrift store out in my area. There used to be one called, I think it was called American Thrift.
Okay.
And they had so many weird like gems there that you wouldn't see like Goodwill. It was American Thrift, and where it used to be is now a Goodwill. Doesn't compare.
Yeah,
it does not compare. They're selling records for like $4 a pop there.
Yeah,
but it's just like old like Christian like just really not desirable records, like all in horrible shape for like $4. And occasionally they'll have something good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that one. And then there's this one place called It's a Wrap.
Okay.
By us. And it's basically an overflow store for when productions are finished with their clothing. So like wardrobe from different shows will just end up there. Wow. So like I've got a pair of Onitsuka Tigers there. It's just you find a lot of really neat stuff.
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy.
That's such a cool idea. Especially like I'm sure I never really thought about it, but when it comes to thrift stores, me and Ben love them. Thrift stores and yard sales, we've always been about them.
Yeah.
But in LA, I'm sure there are people probably who work for production companies that just go and they try to find stuff because they need a 1960 lamp or whatever, so I'm sure the thrifting out there is probably pretty interesting.
We'll have to go sometime when we go out there.
Yeah, we'll have to do that, I think.
Yeah, I have been to plenty of estate sales and yard sales.
Yes.
I love yard sales.
I'm trying to remember cool things that I've found. Oh gosh, I can't go and find them right now. But at one estate sale I went to, it was interesting. The guy was an organist.
Okay.
So just chock full of like of organ memorabilia. So there was like sheet music and stuff there. Apparently there were like 2 turntables that I just missed. Nothing as nice as mine though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I got a set deck there, but he had these ginormous like 80s glasses with like the tortoise shell frame, like these huge lenses. And it's so funny because like when I put them on, here's me without glasses, by the way. But like I'll put them on, and on these ones, like they get larger.
Yeah, sure.
But on the other glasses, they get smaller. So he had like a negative prescription.
Dan, that's cool.
So like I put them on and I look down. It's like I've grown 5 feet in height. It's so strange wearing those glasses.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I collect like old video games, so like retro video games. I'm all about that.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing like you having a better turntable than what had just sold is good. I remember though, I went to one yard sale and I watched someone walking away with a box of like games, and I was like, no, if I had been 5 minutes earlier, you know. So there's nothing worse than showing up and just missing something.
Well, and I have my uncle's old NES.
Oh, nice.
I have a few games for it, and it's back in Houston in storage. But I mean, at one point in time, I had like 4 Game Boys as well.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
It's got like the old like official Game Boy case.
Yeah,
and a bunch of old games. I could probably whoop you real bad in Tetris.
I bet you could. Yeah. I love it.
Did you ever play Pokemon?
I did. I got a good way through Blue.
Okay.
Ooh.
Have you played Blue?
I've played Let's Go Eevee. It's hard for the Let's Go Blue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so same story actually, but
interesting. But yeah, I think it was his copy of Pokemon Blue, and I got to this one part like right before you go and see like the last gym leaders or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like underground, and you're just surrounded like by these boulders. And if you make one wrong move, it'll like mess up the entire thing. So I gave up there because I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, I had to like look up guides and stuff. It was very tedious.
Yeah, there's times it's so funny. Like I think back and the internet now is so helpful because you just type something in on Google and you got the answer. But I remember I was playing Legend of Zelda for the Nintendo 64. And there's this one part where you get your horse and you're trapped in the farm and you're supposed to jump over the gate to escape the farm in Ocarina of Time. But as a kid, I had no clue what I was supposed to do. And so the only thing I could think of was there's a guy that I knew who had done it. And so I asked Mom if I could use the phone to call this guy that I knew so that he could tell me how to do this thing. Because there was no like type it in on Google and find the answer.
Yeah, now today you have TikTok.
Yeah, you've got all the resources you need when it comes to
plethora stuff. Did you all watch the Angry Video Game Nerd growing up?
Oh yeah, yep, yeah, for sure. It
was like one of my favorite things to watch. Way back in the day.
Yeah, I've always just been a huge fan of any of that kind of content.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a sucker for a good story, so I think that's really what it is for me. Like whether it's a book or a video game or a movie, for me it's all about a good story. And so you know, it doesn't matter necessarily how I see that story, but I think games I enjoy the most because I'm participating in.
You know what my favorite game was growing up?
What?
Sonic.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that reminds me. I had like Sonic something or another. It was like a collection of like all the games from my PS2
for Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I had the Genesis ones, but it was just the disc for my PS2.
Okay.
And I don't know how that came about, like Sonic on the PS2, but it did. And I remember, I think Sonic Spinball. I tried playing that and it scared me. I don't know why it did, but it scared me. Like I hated playing that game.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I think about that too, right? There's a lot of things like I look back on now that definitely aren't that scary, but freaked me out for whatever reason.
Like the Big Bird in the playroom.
Yeah. So there's a good story for you. So we had this like animatronic Big Bird from Sesame Street.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So it's this little thing.
Are we talking like 6 feet tall or a little toy?
Fortunately not. It was probably like this big.
Okay.
Yeah, because that'd be terrifying. But it was like, you know, it had a beak that would move and it was supposed to talk. But the point of it was as you watch Sesame Street, it would like hear something and then respond. But for some reason, ours battery was like dead, and whenever you turn the lights on or off, it would start talking.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And so there were so many times where like I'd be leaving the room and I'd turn the light off, and then I just hear Big Bird like in the corner, like brr, 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 brr. And just like, oh, no, please, no.
What's time to read a story?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, no, it's not.
They're probably worth money online now.
No, I promise it's not time to read the story.
That's horrifying.
Yeah. But now it's a good story now.
I'm trying to think. I remember the one-eyed purple eater.
Yeah, that was something that you liked as a kid too.
I didn't want to open up any other gifts.
Yeah, did you ever have a situation like that where? Ooh. So you obviously had a hyperfixation on like you said, transportation usually type objects. Right. Did that also take place in like gifts you received? Were they all like trains, cars, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think they were. At one point, I had a bunch of models of just like little cars. Yeah. Oh wait, no. Okay. Oh man, this is funny. If my mom was here, she'd be cackling about this. When I was growing up, and we were kind of like getting my behavior down.
Yeah.
If I did something good or something that my parents asked of me, for positive affirmation, they would go and get me a Transformer.
Oh, yes.
We would go to Walmart and I would get to pick one out. And at kind of the eclipse, the twilight years of my Transformers obsession.
Yeah.
There was just a bin full of like 50 or 60 Transformers toys.
I love it.
That's another one. You remember Revenge of the Fallen or whatever?
Yeah.
Like when that came out, not a great movie, but the toys were amazing. I had this one of Devastator.
Yeah.
That got shipped out to us from China. It took like 6 months to get here.
Dang.
And I let it fall into disrepair because it was not my favorite.
Yeah.
It wouldn't stand up. You could not get it to stand up.
Yeah.
And so I was just so disappointed because it was a cool model, like in and of itself, but it just wasn't a good action figure.
Yeah. So, that's always something I think about too. Like they had to balance that, right? They had to balance like making a cool toy, but also a cool action figure.
Oh, what was your favorite toy growing up?
Yeah,
I'm trying to conversate
one that you think of. Yeah,
just one, huh?
Yeah, just one.
Just
one toy. Toy Story.
One toy.
Well, how about while he's thinking, Ben? What's your one toy that you loved growing up?
I probably love Toy Story.
Yeah,
probably with Buzz Lightyear in the bathtub.
Oh yeah, you never Buzz Lightyear.
You drowning them.
No, you got to put the helmet on first, so he's prepared.
Right.
What about Star Wars action figures? That's another good.
That'd be my answer. I think I really liked Star Wars action figures. That was my toy growing up.
Yeah. Well, my dad back in the day, I mean, he grew up in the 70s and 80s, so he had all the Kenner ones.
Oh yeah.
And of course, they're probably worth a fortune now, but he just doesn't have them.
Yeah. Right.
I really don't know. There was a time when I was really interested in like Christine, the possessed car.
Yeah.
And so I had this super nice model that had like actual tinted windows. It had like cloth on the floorboards, and there was a switch on the bottom that you could flick. And it would turn on the lights.
What?
In the front.
Whoa, that's cool.
It was just super cool. And that also fell apart over time. But I think me now, I'd say that's probably one of my favorites. It was just super detailed. I really like detailed stuff.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and I can see that even too, right? In the Transformers, like they have the intricacy of a Transformer is something that I was also drawn to. Because it's funny, I had a very similar situation, but for me, it was riding my bike. So when I was learning how to ride a bike,
oh no,
I had very little interest in it.
Thanks, Dad.
But I have a memory of my mom saying, if you can learn it this weekend, we'll go buy a Transformer. And that's all I needed. That was all the motivation I needed.
This is a trend.
Yeah, I guess
The
so.
Transformer bribe is an actual. This is a phenomenon. This is incredible.
Yeah, I need to get some more data, do some plot pointing, you know.
Start interviewing parents of Transformer kids.
Yes, exactly.
Get your answers there.
I love it.
Oh, if you had to be in one movie, like in a Transformers or any kind of action movie, what movie would you be in?
Oh, cool question. If you could have been in any movie.
One movie. Well, we'll stay on the Transformers whim here.
Yeah.
The latest one that they did, the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was a much better conceived film, I think.
Okay.
In terms of just like characters. So
Sure.
if I had to pick, that was recent too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's a little more reasonable. I would do that one. I did audition for one of them.
Okay.
Way back in the day, and I didn't get it. It was like one of those kids in I think the third one.
Okay.
I auditioned to be one of those kids. Didn't get it. I think I was too old.
Maybe.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
They knew that you had destined for better things.
Don't let Michael Bay hear this.
It's also like, here's a good question. So how did you handle like the cutthroat nature of like tryouts, right? Because I feel like there's so much to it where you just have to keep going. Like, how did you handle all that stuff?
I've probably done hundreds of auditions over the years. Hundreds and hundreds. Like, let's see, I've been doing it since I was like 6. So about 12 years of auditions.
Yeah, wow.
And of course, there's like pilot season and whatnot where it really ramps up.
Yeah,
typically.
sure.
For a while, I was in the dead zone. Like when
Really?
you're just a teenager, but they don't want to hire you.
Yeah,
Because, when you're a minor on a TV set or a film set, what they had to do was have a set teacher.
Yeah.
So they have to hire somebody, pay somebody, and
interesting.
just have you in your off time on the set be schooled by somebody. And what I had to do for that, I think I was about 16 years old. Here in California, there's this thing that you can do called the CHSP, the California High School Proficiency Exam.
Okay.
And I took that, and it basically says that you're done with high school.
Okay.
So if you have that as an actor, it is very, very lucrative because it means that they don't have to hire a set teacher for you.
Yeah,
And
right.
It's so funny because I did the CHSP, and then I didn't book anything until I was about
Oh my gosh.
So it never even came into effect. All of that studying, working on math, and I'm terrible at math, by the way. I'm okay at math. It's just that the CHSP, it was grueling, but it's just funny to me that thing that I did before that was TYSON'S RUN, and the thing I did since was I did voice acting for Final Fantasy VII.
Whoa, really?
As a young Cloud, the remake.
Really?
So if you watch that, have you played that before?
Oh yeah. So I played the original. I love the original, and I was actually a fan of the remake. So that's actually really exciting.
I never seen the remake,
and I did not know that. I didn't see that in the research I did.
Yeah, so like young Cloud when he's up on the water tower, and I can't remember what the town is called, but when he's talking about going to Midgar.
Okay.
Is it a movie?
So I mean, you could probably call Final Fantasy a movie when it comes to some of the graphics they do in there, but
stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just funny. I did the CHSP. I haven't really used it, but whatever. I got my CHSP exam.
There you go. That is funny though. Like I've never thought about the idea of schooling, and it's something that like everyone has to do, and I feel like especially as an actor, it has to be so frustrating. Because it's like, I don't really want to use any of these skills. I want to be acting.
Right. Well, and of course, like there's a fine balance as well between like, okay, you gotta be taught, your actual schoolwork, or else it's illegal.
Right. Right.
And oh my gosh, I have to do my lines so I don't royally screw up in front of everybody.
Yeah, right. So true.
You have to memorize. It's just balancing act.
Yeah. Yeah. What was for you? Did you enjoy the voice acting piece in the sense of like being off camera, or do you prefer being on camera?
I like both.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
They're both stressful in their own way. Not stressful, but challenging.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it turns into stress sometimes. But like when you're doing regular acting, it is the way you deliver lines, the way you manipulate your face. Makes it sound strange, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With voice acting, you've got like a $1,000 Neumann microphone pointed at your face.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and you're sitting there, you're reading these lines. You have to match inflection for a specific take. You have to do it a specific way. Like, and you'll have a director in the booth, or not in the booth, but like in the control room.
Yeah.
Like, suggesting different ways to do it.
Oh,
and it was cool because I did my audition for Young Cloud, and I think it was, who developed those games?
Square Enix.
Right. And like over in Japan, they heard my audition for it, and they're like, oh yeah, cool. We'll have him do the dub for Young Cloud. And so while I was there, they were showing us the pre-production, like just the 3D models like doing their thing. Dang. And then it was the Japanese voice lines, so I had to go through there and try my best to match like the attitude, the inflection, the emotion, all that stuff, while making it fit within a certain time frame and all that stuff. Yeah. So it was really cool to see how they did that, because they separately voice animated. They animated the American one too. It wasn't just
right, exactly,
like Japanese. It was really cool. I like that experience. Yeah, they're challenging in their own ways.
That's
that's very cool.
That's definitely a good way to put it, for sure. And I even just like I lived in Japan for a while, and so I know like the differences in language,
right?
But also the differences in how they express emotion. And so like obviously something like a video game, their voice actors usually go over the top,
right?
But you have to kind of take some of that and keep that over the top, but also tone down or bring up depending on the cultural differences, which is so interesting.
It's so cool because like so much of the game industry over the years has come from Japan.
Yeah.
Like
so
Nintendo.
True. Yeah,
Nintendo's the best.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to think about. You're right. Like a lot of the most successful stuff has come from Japan.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed my time over there because I was always nerding out. Thrift stores in Japan. That's the place to go.
I've literally seen videos about this. In Japan, they have a huge like audiophile community.
Yep.
So you see like the most high end stuff there.
It's crazy.
And like I remember I watched this video of a guy going through like a thrift store in Japan. And here in the US, you'll be lucky if you find some like high quality, really hi-fi equipment. But like they had a whole section there with like Sony, like really high quality, like my receiver in there. It's from a line called ES, which stands for Elevated Standards. Okay. The thing weighs like 40 pounds. And it's a very nice amplifier.
Yeah.
So like they found like a cassette deck from there, and it's just really cool because like they tend to take better care of their components over in Japan.
Yeah. It's amazing too. Like, so the one, I mean, I went to a whole bunch because I was all over the country, but like a friend of mine lives in Saitama, so I spent some time there. And about an hour north of his house is a 6-story thrift store.
You never told me this.
And each story is a different like theme. So they have a whole music themed story of the thrift store. Yeah. So you'd be in heaven over there.
Why must you tempt me like that? We're gonna have to look up the conversion rate for yen and check the wall here later.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I guess Major and Dan have something in common about Japan.
Yeah, I guess we do.
There we go. Next time I'm over there, I'll have to keep my eye out for something you're looking for.
Yes,
I'll send you a message, let you know what I can pick up for you. Hey, it's actually crazy. We're getting to the end of the show.
Yes.
And at the end,
I was gonna say, make sure you watch Tyson's Run coming out. This Friday. Coming out. You can see it now in theaters. Go to Tyson'sRun.com. Check it out.
Yeah.
Real quick, Broad Theater and Souderton's doing a sensory friendly show on March 21st.
Yeah.
And then at 7 p.m. So check that out. And then opening night is the 18th. So check your local listings and your different across the country, across the United States. Go to Tyson'sRun.com. We'll have the link on our website for it.
March 11th. So go and check it out.
Yeah, we'll have the link on the website. Every guest on the show, I keep a little bio in a past guest section, and so we'll have that attached there for sure. We always like to end the show by basically just giving the floor to our guests. So if you feel like there's something that you wanted to talk about that you didn't get the chance to talk about, now is your chance. We call it the red carpet time, so we'll roll it out for you.
I like that idea.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. You're fantastic interviewers. This just felt like a conversation.
Yeah.
Go and see Tyson's Run. It'll be coming out on March 11th and probably a theater near you. We're doing a nationwide release.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it. I hope it inspires you. I hope you just take something positive away from it. We absolutely need some more positivity right now with everything going on.
Yeah.
It's all just kind of melting together. So that any uplifting boost that you can get. I just hope you really enjoy the movie. And thank you guys for having me. It has been a wonderful time.
Of course.
What's up?
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for watching.
Oh, it was great. It was a great episode. Major was a great guy.
Yeah, it was really good. I was able to slice it out of the end, but I embarrassingly called him Tyson at the end. Do you remember that? I felt pretty embarrassed. I knew at some point I was going to say
I know. I didn't want to say it, but you said it first.
I did.
Okay, I know.
Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
He was very kind about it. So we just want to do a couple more announcements real quick. We have our next guest.
Are you ready for this, guys?
Who is it, Ben?
So, who doesn't love TGI Fridays?
True.
I like their potato skins. So next week, we are having the CEO of TGI Fridays, Ray, on our show. Ray Nugent. Is it New? Ray. I know.
Ray, the CEO of TGIF Fridays.
TGIF Fridays. It's always Fridays in the house, but next Tuesday will probably be like a Friday. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so we'll have him on.
And Dan, you like Fridays?
I do like Fridays. I've always enjoyed them. We have some good memories at Fridays. And it's a great day of the week too. But yeah, so Ray, the CEO of TGIF Fridays, or TGI Fridays. It's not TGIF Fridays. That's too many Fridays. He'll be on our show next Tuesday. And that's our normal Tuesday schedule, and we'll be back to that schedule in April. So we'll be doing twice in April, the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays. And
we have
then
some special other guests coming soon.
Yeah, we've got some special stuff coming up, and then we're hoping May into the summer we're gonna start doing some other content as well as the show. And we want to remind you to wear blue for April 2. Ben's billboard is out there. You'll see him share that post, and then we've got some merch right, Ben?
Yep.
So we got some Razed typical stuff. We got this shirt. The one tree can start a forest.
One kind person can change the world, and one light can push back darkness.
Yeah, very true. So we've got some awesome shirts out there, so check those out as well.
I was gonna say, if you want to go check out Tyson's Run, go check it out at your local theater. I'm gonna be there. When the day I know when I'm gonna go, I'll announce it, and if you want to join me that night, great. If not,
sounds like a plan. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
We'll see you for our regular show live next week.
Yep. And having autism is not a bad thing, and it doesn't characterize who we are. Everybody is unique and special, just like a rainbow. And be kind out there and be the one. Thank you, guys. We. Oh, is it? Oh, hold on.